Today on the Newsa-Cast, we have a fourfer for the people. That's right, 4 lacrosse interviews. We dive deep into the Bay Valley, into Wisconsin lacrosse. The season is starting, and we're talking to some of the coaches. Pulaski's Rich Thomson, Appleton's Coach Danny. Great to catch up with him. Roger Hornberger from Kimberly, and Eric Marsh. The Neenah Rockets were just seconds away from a state championship last year. We talked to all 4 of them. What do you say, folks? Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the Newsa-Cast. What is a Newsa-Cast? It's where we bring local folk stories to life through conversation.
All right, Newsa-Cast listeners, welcome to the Newsa-Cast, and we are having a special episode to kick off the 2025 spring lacrosse season. We are, throwing it to 4 of the coaches here in the Fox Valley. We have Danny Rafalski, coach of Appleton United. We have Eric Marsh, coach of Neenah. Who else we got, Joe? Haven't heard you yet.
We're lacrosse guys. Yeah, we're lacrosse guys. We're excited for this episode. You're right. We have Roger Hornberger from Kimberly, Rich Tomson, Pulaski, Danny, like you said, from Appleton, and Marsh. Neenah was just, I know it hurts, but they were just seconds away from a championship last year, and they're looking to get back down there and regain those seconds and raise the gold trophy as a WIAA second year, right, Tash? Sanctioned sport, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, what's cool about this too is we sit down with each of them by themselves. Eventually, maybe we can sit down with all of them and just shoot the breeze about lacrosse, but we sit down with each of them and let them kind of talk about their team and the season ahead and what to look forward to. So we've had some games already this week. The weather's cooperating so far. And they're off and running, so to speak. So it's going to be a great season. It's quick. It's just like the game. It's fast. It's a spring season. And before you know it, they'll be down at state tournament.
Yeah, no doubt. It's incredible how quick the season goes. It feels like it takes forever to get here. Weather turns nice. You play a whole bunch of lacrosse, and you're right. You try to get down to Sun Prairie. But Tosh, you're right. This episode's pretty cool. It's the Bay Valley. That's for any new. I'm sure most of you understand how lacrosse works up here, but we hope there's some newbies on here listening. So the Bay Valley is the high school lacrosse conference, and the whole state as a whole. There's a Southern Conference, Milwaukee Conference. I can't remember, Tosh, off the top of my head what they're called, but a lot of the good teams reside in both of those areas as well. Yeah,
the southern part of the state has their programs started a little sooner. They've been more popular. They've been growing. They're tough. They're good teams. You're going to battle. It's going to be physical. But the thing is that all the teams up here in the Bay Valley are getting better. The programs are growing, and the Neenahs, the Kimberlys, the Appletons, they can compete with anybody. And I know Pulaski's a newer program and they're growing, but they're going to continue to get better and better as the athletes come. So it's going to be exciting to see this conference. It's going to eventually very much compete with those Southern teams.
Yeah, definitely. That's always been the goal. I've been around this conference for probably 10 years now, so it's been fun to watch it grow. And I had a boy that came through it, reffed it a lot of years, and now I'm just a fan of the Bay Valley and lacrosse in general. We all know it's a great sport, no doubt about that, Tosh. We love it, and we also love. Tosh and I love podcasting. We kind of fell into this a little bit late, right, Tosh? But for anybody new out there, we were born out of the Red Smith banquet. So that was a fundraiser in town. Casey Powell, one of the all-time great lacrosse players, he attended one year, spoke on stage. But all the proceeds from our banquet, from this podcast, wherever we raise our money, always goes back to youth sports. A lot of the lacrosse programs in the area were recipients of that money, help build some of their programs. As we all know, it all starts with the youth. You got to build a strong youth program to have a successful high school program. So Red Smith's always been a part of that, and that's basically what the Newsa-Cast is. And Tosh, over the almost 2 years we've done this, we built up a pretty cool library of a lot of interesting clips.
Yeah, absolutely. Our social media platform has skyrocketed. It's been taking off. We have lots of clips from those interviews from the Red Smith banquet, from all the way back into the 90s, and I mean, I think we've even managed to save some from like the 80s too. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. It would be great to get some of those all the way back into the early years, but that's going to be tough to transfer. At some point, maybe we'll be able to get some of those. But those throwbacks we have are fantastic. I mean, we've had some of the all-time greats come through Appleton, like Bob Euchre, Bill Walton, just to name a couple lately. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, in all through the years, the banquet was around for 57 years, and they had every single sport imaginable, from race car drivers to basketball, football, state of Wisconsin. I mean, all the greats, Leroy Butler. We have some great years with him. Check us out though. Newsa-Cast, the Newsa-Cast YouTube page, that has them all. I think we have about 80 of the throwbacks up. Those are all people that have come to the Red Smith banquet. And, kind of as an offshoot of that, this podcast has a lot of incredible interviews with local people. A lot of the lacrosse coaches, like we mentioned. Every single person you're going to hear on this podcast, Roger, Marsh, all these guys, Danny, they all have a full episode that you and I have done with them over the last couple of years. That's just scroll down through your iTunes, your Spotify. Yeah, you'll find them. And we have a lot of a lot of Lawrence people. We have the Lacrosse at Lawrence. Yeah. They have a new program. We've talked to them a couple of times about
Coach
that.
Zadraga. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's been a lot of fun. So yeah, check us out. And if you have friends who haven't listened to this and they're listening the first time, hearing about your kids' program, tell them about it and have them go check out some of the original podcasts we've been doing. And you're going to find something you like. We guarantee it, because it's not all sports. We also have a lot of community members. We have the Mile of Music. We've had people who have come to the Mile of Music, some of the artists. We have people from Downtown Incorporated. So it's a lot about our community, and you're going to find something you like.
Tosh and I just like to shoot the breeze, and we're very curious people, and we just sit down and record those conversations. We've found so many really, really interesting people. And just one more plea for everybody. Honestly, I never knew, Tosh, how I felt about this, because every single podcast begs and pleads for subscriptions and hitting the like and subscribe. But I've come to find out, in just doing this Newsa-Cast project, that really is important. We really do need that. So if you could subscribe, you can even subscribe and then just mute us, so you don't even have to listen to us. But just subscribe. We just need that subscription. That's huge. I mean, we hope you listen to us. We try to be good, but that subscription, that like, that download, that honestly really, really helps us, especially the subscription. So
yeah, please help us out in that regard. That's the best thing you can do for us. One of the other people we've had on twice that we want to mention before we get to our interviews is the MMA fighter from Appleton, Keegan Grinrich. He is fighting on Friday, the LFA fight at 175. If you're an MMA fan, you should probably go to the LFA website and get that fight and download it, watch it wherever you can, because it's going to be a battle. And Keegan, we're big fans of Keegan, and we wish him the best of luck and hope that he kicks some major butt in that fight.
We've talked to him a couple of times, and we've come to find out, Tosh, that Keegan, when he's at Mystic Lake, he really likes the cable there. So Friday, he fights at night. So what does an MMA fighter do during the day? watch cooking shows,
There you
right,
go.
Tosh, on cable TV.
Yeah. Watch it all about the food you can't eat because you're trying to make weight. So
It's unreal. It's unreal. He's a pretty cool guy, and
Absolutely.
we wish him well for sure. For sure. Well, Tosh, people didn't come here to listen to us, I don't think. So we better get this show on the road, like we like to say.
Yeah, and we're going to kick it off with Rich Thomson. You're going to hear about the Pulaski program. And also, Joe, he is head of the Wisconsin Lacrosse Federation.
Yeah, look, they used to run all of lacrosse, basically, the state of Wisconsin, and then it's now a WIAA sport, so they don't quite have everything that they used to have on their plate, but there's still a huge part of the lacrosse program, a huge part of the youth program. That's really now where they focus. So they're big from that standpoint, because we all, like I said, we all know you have to have a strong youth program to grow any sport, to grow any program. So they help with that. And Rich is the president of that. Rich started Pulaski. He actually was one of the founders and starters of the Kimberly program as well several years back. So Rich is a huge advocate for lacrosse. And here is our little interview with Rich. But you wear so many different hats that I wanted to also just touch maybe right off the bat, the WLF, just the state of Wisconsin as a whole. How does the lacrosse look from that hat, so to speak? How do things look statewide?
Yeah, I would say with the WIA taking on, and now its second season, taking on high school lacrosse, the WLF really now is focused on investing and developing that pipeline, really focused and investing on our youth programs to make sure that we have strong high school programs, strong feeder systems for those high school programs to make sure that WIA lacrosse is successful. So I think the WLF has really changed its focus. I think in the past it was really geared towards the high school and kind of a little bit, I don't want to say dominated, but like a lot of the discussions and stuff tended to be high school focused. Now what we're seeing is the WLF is really investing and focusing its energy and time on the youth. And I think that's really a good thing, because then, there's more time and effort devoted to the youth, to helping them get better, to helping create opportunities and tournaments and stuff like that. Next year in 2026, there's going to be a youth state tournament, a WLF youth state tournament in Wisconsin Dells. So I'm thinking things like that and opportunities like that will only help build the game, help build a stronger lacrosse in the state of Wisconsin from all four corners of the state, and really help build that pipeline to ensure that we have a strong WIA lacrosse at the high school level.
Yeah, no doubt. And perhaps I showed my lack of podcasting skills. A better question probably would have been, newly into the WIAA, the high school looks way different, like you said, than it did 2 years ago. What is your take now? Is it better with WIAA? Is it how's it going? Are you kind of over the hiccups now?
I would say that we're really getting over a lot of those kind of the speed bumps that come along with the transition like that. It really is a good thing overall for our sport. Now we're not just a club sport anymore. We're part of our high school programs. People who are lettering and who are doing this and that are part of, the high school program for each of our respective cities. I think it really helps to have that kind of visibility, whereas it's one thing when you're just a club and maybe not everybody, all the students hear of it and stuff. When you're a sponsored sport by your school, that gives you a lot more visibility. It gives you a lot more access to resources such as playing time on your football field and this and that. It gives you access to, transportation sometimes and this and that. So I think there's a lot of things that really get missed at the club level that when you're a varsity sponsored sport really is a good thing. As to how the landscape has changed, last year we kind of were in two different camps. There was like a camp up in the Green Bay area that had us, Oneida, De Pere, us, De Pere, Bayport, and Notre Dame. And then on the other side was the Fox Valley schools, Neenah, Kimberly, Appleton, Wausau, and Oneida were a separate group. This year, we put together, our athletic directors worked together. They put a fast track proposal in front of the WIAA. And so now it kind of, if you remember the old Bay Valley, we kind of merged that back together. And next year, Stevens Point will be offering lacrosse. So essentially, Yeah, so I think essentially what used to be the old Bay Valley is now kind of brought back together now as the new Bay Valley under the auspices of the WIA. So that's really an exciting development for us, and I think something that everybody's looking forward to.
So a lot of those schools then it's a one sport school, the Bay Valley, Pulaski, Wausau, I guess, is both high schools. Appleton is a co-op, but you have Kimberly in their high school. You have Bayport in their high school. Is Stevens Point going to be a co-op as well? Pacelli, things like that
I think,
over there?
yeah. So Stevens Point, I think, is just going to be Stevens Point. I know in the past they had Pacelli as part of it, but my understanding is, at least from what I've read, is that that's just going to be Stevens Point. Wausau is a co-op of the two Wausau schools plus DC Everest. Now, if you remember, DC Everest used to be a Bay Valley program, and now they're part of that co-op. In the Green Bay area, we are just Pulaski. Bayport is just Bayport. De Pere is a co-op of the two De Pere schools, so De Pere and West De Pere. And then Notre Dame, I think, does have a couple other programs. I think Ashwaubenon and Kaukauna co-op with them. And I think Green Bay Southwest co-ops with Oneida. And then in the Valley, I believe Neenah and Kimberly are by themselves, but Appleton is a co-op. They have the 3 Appleton public schools, the 2 private schools, Xavier and FEL. And I think they also have a couple other schools that they co-op with as well.
Well, I mean, it's exciting. We're literally on the ground floor building up. I think it sounds like it's in a great spot. I mean, these co-ops eventually, you hope that, they start eventually breaking off where all the high schools, just like football and basketball, all the high school sports have their own team. But, this is how you grow the sport. And like you said, with the youth numbers and the youth participation, that's where it starts. And as they get excited, schools get excited to add them. I mean, how great would it be to have Oshkosh and Fond du Lac and, some of the bigger towns around here? They should have lacrosse.
Yeah, we hope that someday, our hope is, and that's actually one of our, part of the WLF, one of our tenants is, and I, as you know, I'm the president of the WLF,
Right.
is to get the Fond du Lacs, the Oshkosh, the Hortonvilles, the Kaukanas, the Ashwaubenons and stuff. We want to see, lacrosse, the Manitowoc, Two Rivers area, right? We want to see all those areas get lacrosse so that we can build an even stronger WIA lacrosse and a stronger lacrosse community here in Northeast Wisconsin. We want to see all those schools have lacrosse.
That would just be incredible. Maybe you throw Hudson in there too, right? Just for good measure.
that would be terrific for Western Wisconsin.
No, I love that. Well, you laid out the Bay Valley nicely, and I want to talk now specifically about your club because you're the founder of Pulaski. I mean, you were in early. You're literally one of the founders of Kimberly as well, and kind of watched that grow. I think you kind of took their blueprint, brought it up to Pulaski where you live, and started with the youth and built a great program, really competitive kids. They were, some of the kids played year round. I saw them at the box and things like that. And then you built up now to high school. Now you're a full varsity team. You're playing in the stadium. You're playing lacrosse. You're a high school lacrosse program. So I mean, congratulations. It's been a long run for you, but I mean, you're in a great spot, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah. So this is our second, as you mentioned, we founded the program back in 2018. We did learn to play lacrosses for the first 2 years. In 2020, we started the youth program with the intent of that it was going to, build and then eventually funnel up to a high school program. 2020, unfortunately, because of COVID, ended up getting canceled after a couple weeks. But 2021, we came back strong. We had 12s and 14s at that year, and then the next year we had 10s, 12s, and 14s, and we've been doing that ever since. On the high school side, we had a club team for 2 years. At the JV level, and then once the WIA took over, now we are in the second year of as a high school program. So it's really exciting for us. I think the first year was kind of a learning experience. That was our first year at the varsity level. We did, have plenty of opportunities to learn things. The speed of pace is a lot faster. The, technique and the conditioning and all the things that come with that are just at a higher level. So I think there's a lot that we really learned from that. And I'm hoping this year, we look at it as there's a progression, right? The example I always give is the first time you play somebody, especially a really good team like a Neenah or an Appleton or something, it can be a bit of a learning experience. The second time you close that gap, and the third time, we want to make it a game, right? So we're at the second stage of that. We want to take that step. We want to really progress and improve our skills, and we want to start, surprising people, making it something so that when people play us, they know, hey, they played Pulaski.
So who are some of the boys that they're going to be going up against? Talk about, attack, the poles, the middies.
Yeah. So we have our returning first teamer, Gavin Heinz. He's a two-sport athlete. He plays football. He also plays lacrosse.
Nice.
Gavin's very athletic. He can play on the defensive side, which is where he originally started, but now he's also been able to branch out and do some attack for us as well. He really has a strong shot. He's somebody who's very athletic. And so somebody that I think everybody's looking to see, hey, you were first team in our Green Bay conference last year. Now that we're a merged conference, what can he accomplish for us? We have Cody Delabrew. He's one of our captains of the team. He's been a captain since back at U14, so every year he's been a captain of our team. He's a midi. He's a fogo for us. He's really a leader for the team. He's somebody that I think all the players look up to. And he really sets the tone for, especially we have a lot of young players on our team, given the youth of our program, and so I think a lot of them look to Cody's leadership and his example and what he does to set the example for our team. We have Nick Sanders at X for us. He's really our feeder up in the attack area. Our offense runs through Nick. So Nick, he's kind of versatile. He can both. Somebody that can take it to the hole and, get the inside roll and get that goal. He just did it for us yesterday in our game versus Oak Creek. And then, but he's also a feeder. He's somebody that, like I said, we run our offense through him. He attacks from X and really challenges the defense. So I'm really looking forward to see what Nick can do this year. He's somebody that has a lot of versatility, a lot of skills. He's also a two-sport player. He plays both football and lacrosse. So excited for that. We also have Josh Hiddle. Josh is a relatively new player. I think he's only picked up lacrosse here in the past couple of years. He's also a two-sport athlete in football and lacrosse. But Josh is very athletic, and I think he's really going to surprise some people, both at the midi spot, but also by his ability to goal score and his ability to finish. Our goalie is Ben Schrader. Ben had a phenomenal day yesterday. He's really, I think, by all measures, really surprised everybody with his ability. He's kind of an aggressive goalie. He likes to attack, and that's something I think that really helps and benefits a team like ours. And he also sets the tone. I think a lot of people look at his effort and his hustle. He really, each play, he's really going for that end line, going for those balls, and that really sets the tone, especially for our young players to say, hey, that's something we want to emulate. That kind of level of hustle and that grit. So we really look up to Ben, and he was one of our players of the game yesterday. And then I think we're going to a couple players I think that will surprise people this year. I think might be a chance for a breakout year for him. Everett Just, he scored a couple goals yesterday for us. He was constantly attacking the crease, so I'm looking for good things from Everett. Maxime Ninham had a goal, and he did some good things yesterday. And then Corbin Hill, he's one of our captains. He's somebody that can really versatile. He can play anywhere on the field. He can play defense. He can play LSM. He can play attack. He can play Fogo. So I'm really looking forward to seeing. He's kind of a quiet leader. He really lets his actions do the talking, and I'm excited for what Corbin can do, and looking forward to see what he'll do this season.
I tell you what, there's nothing that keeps an official more on his feet than an active goalie, is there?
That is true. That is true. It keeps you busy.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. The thing I noticed about when you were listing off the guys are the two-sport athletes, which I absolutely love, and a lot of them are football players. We talked to Roger a little bit about the same thing. That is so great to see. It's happening with all the teams. I mean, Neenah is the same thing. Appleton. The two sports correlate so well together. You're even seeing it on NFL. Nothing warms my heart more than on a Sunday and they put up the graphic of whoever and college lacrosse player and decided to play football or whatever the case is. But there's more and more of those every year, lacrosse and football players.
And to be honest with you, a lot of times when I'm giving examples in practice and stuff, a lot of the examples come from like a basketball or come from other sports, because you can
Yeah.
use a lot of those same kind of offensive concepts and stuff. Keep that backboard in your back. Well, in lacrosse, we have a goal in our back, right? So I mean, there's a lot of similar concepts that you can use for the pick and roll game, the off ball screens, and all that kind of stuff. A lot of that translates from other sports. And when you have players that come from those other sports, not only does it keep them in shape, does it keep them active, does it keep them utilizing their skills, does it keep them, working on being a good leader and being a good communicator and stuff. It also helps from the standpoint of learning those other skills and stuff, things that they can bring to your team and help your team be successful.
Yeah, no doubt. Once people understand, whether it's a spectator or even an official, once you understand the flow is very, very similar to basketball, that just opens up your mind. The game comes to you way better, I think, when you understand that concept. In the Bay Valley as a whole, so you've got your team. How's the schedule look? I mean, are you bringing some teams up from the south? Are you doing some traveling? How's the schedule look for you?
Yep, we have a full schedule this year. We have a full 18 game, plus we have a scrimmage. Yesterday we were down in Oak Creek, in the Milwaukee area there. We wanted to get that experience versus some of the Milwaukee programs and stuff down there in Milwaukee. They have more programs, and the lacrosse has been around a little bit longer there. So we wanted to get down there, play some games there. Also, it's a little warmer down there than it is up here sometimes. Yeah. So there's an opportunity to get on turf a little quicker and stuff. But then we already head this week into our BVLA schedule. We got Appleton at home at Saputo Stadium. So our first game played on our football field. So we're very proud of that. We'll be on Tuesday, and then we play on Thursday versus Oneida at Green Bay Southwest. So, and then on Saturday we play Notre Dame, and we play Lacrosse. So we're already, getting right into the BVLA schedule this week already. We're also going down. We're seeing Sun Prairie. We played them last year, and we're playing them again this year. It was really cool last year. That Sun Prairie Stadium is where the WIA championships are held. Last year, they'll be held this year and next year. It's really a phenomenal facility. I think they're
incredible.
Yeah, I think there are D3 colleges that would kill to have that kind of facility. And it was a night game. We were very fortunate that Sun Prairie is willing to give our kids the experience of a night game. So to have that great of a facility for a night game, it was phenomenal. So yeah, we're going back down there again. And then we have a tournament in May where we're heading down to Sauk Prairie and play lacrosse and stuff. So we're excited to try. We're playing a tough, conference schedule, but we're also looking at getting out there, playing some of those other teams, getting that experience, and kind of broadening the skill set of our team.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. The WLF always did a fantastic job with the state tournament. They were fantastic, but the WIA really knows how to put on a state tournament, don't they? Whether it's football, basketball, and I assume lacrosse, they do a pretty nice job.
Absolutely. Yeah. As you know, I'm a football and wrestling official as well. And every time I go down there to watch the state wrestling tournament or the state football tournament, right, you almost get chills as you walk in, because it's like, this is the, preeminent event in the state of Wisconsin. And now to have lacrosse as part of that, to get those chills because of our sport is really something special.
Yeah, no doubt. We've had a couple of coaches, officials, things like that have worked state tournaments, and in particular the wrestling, that overhead shot when it's in the Kohl Center, when it's dark with all the mats on the floor and the lights shining on them, that is just one incredible, that's breathtaking photo, really. Yeah, the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah. So for those who aren't aware, on Saturday night, it's usually I think like 5:30, 6 o'clock. The top two at each level, so the top two girls, the top two D1, D2, and D3 on the boys' side, all do a thing where they do a walkout, and they kind of have merging lines that kind of go around and stuff. And they turn off the lights, they put on the spotlights, they put on this music. I tape it every year because I go down every year, and it's really something that to behold. It's something that you watch it and you're just like, wow, to just be there to see that. It sells out every single year. So, I mean, it's a great experience. It's a great experience for the wrestlers. It's a great experience for the officials. It's a great experience for all who are involved, the mat workers and the officials and stuff. So really, like you said, the WIA puts on a great show, and yeah, now to have lacrosse as part of that we're very fortunate, and I hope we can continue that legacy.
No, that's pretty cool. And in there, I think we'll end with this, since I mean you're an official. I'm a former official, but anybody that's out there, I know lacrosse needs officials. All these sports need officials, and you get to experience that kind of stuff. You're on all these fields, you're calling all these games, and legit, you can work a state tournament after a few years of just working hard and get in that kind of an environment. I tell you what, man, there's nothing better. When you get older, you look for stuff like that, and that checks a lot of boxes, being an official.
Absolutely. I tell my players every year, I highly recommend becoming like a youth official, because one, it helps them to they get more knowledgeable about the rules of the game, right? A lot of players play the game their entire career and they never actually read the rule book. When you become an official, you actually have to read the rule book, but you also know how to play right up to that line, right? You want to play tough defense. You want to, be challenge them on offense and stuff, but you want to play right up to that line, but not get the call, right? And by being an official, you know what an official is looking for. You're knowing that they're looking for this or that on that slash or that cross check and stuff. And so you can play by knowing the rules, by knowing what an official is looking for. It only makes you a stronger player. It helps grow the game. And so I think really I encourage all players to become youth officials. It not only helps grow the game, but I think it also helps their development. And then, of course, for adults, I think it's great as well, because one, you get connected to the game. I know I was somebody that played a zillion sport. I played 6 sports growing up, right? It's an opportunity for me to stay connected to high school sports. It's an opportunity. I'm running up and down the field, right? I don't have to go to the gym after work or anything like that, because if I'm an official, I'm running or whatever. And then two, it's really the camaraderie. I think a point that's not recognized too often is that, like, when I'm in football, you have a crew. In lacrosse, you have a crew of guys, and you really get to know those guys. You work with those guys all the time, and it becomes, they become like a second family to you. And I text with my football crew all the time. We're telling jokes to each other, sending memes to each other and stuff. It's really becomes a kind of a band of brothers, a camaraderie that you have with these guys, and you spend those nights working together under the lights, playing a great game, and watching a great game being played and officiating it. The sport needs it, and I think it's really it's a great way to spend a night. I'd much rather do that than sitting on the Davenport watching TV.
Geez, Rich, I might have to come back. Just talk me into it. All right, well, I appreciate it. It's great that lacrosse is back. I'm excited. I appreciate the coaches doing this, and certainly thank you to you, because it is a small group of people that kind of run the lacrosse community, and you wear multiple hats. And I know I can say this for the whole community. Thank you for that, and good luck this year.
Hey, thanks, Joe. We appreciate it. Go Pulaski.
Northeast Wisconsin Sports Advancement, or Noosa, is a nonprofit org where our mission is to raise money, provide support, and bring greater awareness to youth sports organizations in Northeast Wisconsin. We do this primarily through the Red Smith Sports Award Banquet and the Newsa-Cast. Each year, we give back to the community through the Every Kid Plays grant. If you are considering donating or providing support through Noosa, please visit redsmith.org for details.
All right, folks. We hope you enjoyed that interview. Got to hear a lot, and we're going to bring it down south, and we're going to come back to the Fox Valley and talk to Danny Rafalski, who is the head coach of Appleton United.
What's the season look like for Appleton this year? Are you excited?
I'm very excited. This is, there's definitely, not ups and downs at practices, but oh my gosh, with the senior class I had last year in terms of our offense, between 3 of my attackmen, they put up, I did the math, about 83% of our total points for last season. So when you get rid of those 3 guys and put in 3 guys who are filling new attack spots, a lot of my sophomores are stepping up. So if they can do the little things right, and we've been preaching that a lot at practice, if our boys, because of our lack of maturity in the offense, and I say lack of maturity more so in the sense of they haven't really found their groove quite yet in practice. We just coming out of spring break. It's just a very immature offense right now. I have some great lacrosse players. I have some great young men. We just got to find our rhythm, yeah, just get these reps in, because I know we started doing 6v6 coming out of spring break this Monday, and our defense is phenomenal. Our defense honestly gives me and my offensive coordinator a little bit of anxiety sometimes, because it's like we'll be trying to set our offense up, and our defense just keeps shutting it down. We almost got to remind ourselves, like, hey, like we got to, like, we're training against probably, in my opinion, one of the best defenses in the state right now.
Who are some of those polls? Who are we talking about?
So they're led by 3 seniors who've been playing together basically since their ALC days. I got Cooper Willis from Hortonville. He'll be a senior this year. Aiden Eckes from Xavier, and Rowan Solar out of Appleton North. All just studs, with Colin Mansell in net, who's been playing since he was with them in ALC as well. So just a very deep core. Elliot Olm, probably in my opinion, one of the best D middies in the state.
Is he still your Fogo?
Oh yeah. He's been a staple of this team since before I was here, since when he was a freshman. So, I mean, he's just been better and better every year. He's one of our captains this year. Been very vocal.
Did he cut his hair? Is it still long blonde?
No, he's still rocking it. There's no chance that's going anywhere. I've seen it cut once, and it.
It kind of makes me sad, or makes me feel old. I mean, I think that's the last Eckes boy too to go through Appleton, right? I mean,
that is the last. Owen's out at Elmhurst, playing out there, and then Aiden's looking good. I mean, that kid's what, like 6'5" right now, easily 205, 210. His stick's looking great. All those boys are looking confident back there again. Like it's been a fun job for our offense, because again, me and my offensive coordinator have had to remind ourselves, like, hey, we're going against a really tough defense. So when we do crack these guys, when we finally find our rhythm as an offense, and like I think it'll just make us even more prepared for teams that are like any team that we face this year.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone has a better core defense better than ours this year that I can think of.
Yeah, you just got to figure out how to get it in the back of the net, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a tough one. Well, the Bay Valley, we've had obviously some other coaches on as well. Just we're talking Bay Valley, but from your standpoint, I mean, it's obviously it's tough. I mean, Neenah is just less than a minute and a half away from a state championship. You know, Kimberly, right. Always tough. It's a tough league, and I guess speak a little bit about the Bay Valley, and then from there we'll just kind of take a look at the state as a whole.
I mean, I love how the Bay Valley's grown lacrosse-wise since I've started coaching. Kimberly's fielding like 50+ guys. They have a JV1, a JV2 team. It's amazing. I love seeing that. Marsh, Pulaski out at Neenah, they're doing a great job. Tway out there, Dawson Lee doing a phenomenal job out there.
Yeah.
I know they're looking at their goalie. In terms of me looking at other teams as weaknesses, their goalie is going to be a big part of a part to beating them this year. It doesn't seem like they have a solid goalie like they have had in the past few years. Their defense is always going to be solid. They do always a good job with that. They have great athletes on that team. So year in, year out, no matter who's on their roster, they're always going to put up a fight. They're going to be a great contender. So I'm excited to see what they can do coming out of the gate this year.
Sure.
But I know they don't play their first game, I believe, until I think it's next week. I still think they have another week of practice, so they like to really get their work in preseason before they hop into their games.
Yeah.
Which I can respect that.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Roger, he's always going to have that athletic, strong team. They have some really good athletes out there. Their goalie is a sophomore. He has potential to be one of the best goalies in the state. Reed. He was a stud last year as a freshman, so confident in that net. I mean, I got to watch him over the summer, got to watch him in our 6v6 tournament this winter, this early spring.
Where was that one held? I always liked that tournament.
That was, so actually it was in Oshkosh, but right. Now the folks out at Rib Mountain are hosting it. So Wausau was hosting it at the,
there's a new bubble there, right? A new dome?
Yeah, well, it's not a dome. It's a beautiful facility at DC Everest. Sorry, that's the school that owns it.
Indoor,
DC
almost
Everest.
like an airport hangar, right? Kind of big.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. It's gorgeous. And I think they're planning on doing that year in, year out, which will be awesome and something we'll definitely having to be attending, because my first year with the program when Owen was there, that 6v6 tournament was so much fun. A great way to start the season out. Energy's high coming off of that right into practice. It was phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely. It was always one of my favorite days to ref. I love working that tournament. Great tournament for sure. as a state, I mean, there's and some great state players actually come to that 6v6 tournament. But I mean, I know there's the Middletons, the Arrowheads, the usual suspects. But any players, I guess maybe a better question would be any players throughout the state that you're kind of looking forward to playing against, and any special teams that are on the schedule for you.
I don't really think, honestly, this is the first year I haven't really had any standout players across my mind. I feel like we lost a lot of really talented seniors in this following class that I have had my head up, like just a knowledge of throughout the past few years. I mean, I see what guys post on Instagram and I see the guys who are committed, but there hasn't been a guy that really stands out to me. I look forward to playing McQuantico. I look forward to playing Kettle Moraine. I look forward to playing all the teams I know are very well coached, have quality lacrosse players who are going to give us a really hard time. Whether they're having a good day or a bad day, they're just very fundamentally sound teams. And I really look forward to playing those guys because that's, I feel like, true tests of where a program stands, where our team stands. Just as a lacrosse team, let alone as athletes, because that team, you could be as athletic as you want, but when you're facing teams like that who have the fundamentals down, who do the little things right, it's just hard to beat teams like that. So yeah. I try to get those games, and yeah.
How do you feel a couple years now into being a head coach? I mean, you're still pretty young. How do you feel? How's it feel being a head coach?
I mean, I was kind of talking about this. I forget who with, but it feels like each year has been like a year of high school. Like I had my freshman year, kind of didn't really know what was going on. I had obviously the coaches around me helping out a lot, the booster club around me helping a lot. Second year, still not as mature, but getting better, learning how to take the role of the head coach. And then this year's kind of felt like I'm used to the system. I'm taking the lead. I'm doing all the things ahead of time before I should be. I just feel like I really took the reins this year, and this will be the biggest. And I think the boys see it on the field too, is the level of maturity off the field, on the field.
Yeah, that's huge.
Composure, leadership. I just maturing in every aspect.
No, that's great. And it's one of the great things about sports, right? All of that stuff applies to real life, no matter what your job is after lacrosse, and no matter what, you need to apply all those skills really for a better life.
Absolutely. And I'm also very fortunate with the coaches I've had around me, especially, I mean, for the year I started, I mean, to now I have a phenomenal defensive coordinator. My JV coaches, Taylor, has been awesome. Cole Watley, who we pulled from ALC Youth, has been a great help on the offense. It's just, so having a good staff around me has definitely made my job easy.
Yeah. No, that's good to hear. Well, Danny, I'm looking forward to the season. When this comes out, you'll already have a couple of games under your belt, provided the weather ever changes. This has been a miserable spring from that standpoint. But
what day will that be, you think?
I think this will come out next week, Thursday, a week from Thursday.
Okay,
yeah.
I was gonna say hopefully we'll still be undefeated by then, but I don't see us losing.
Yeah, right. Perfect. No, that'll be good. You can find every episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, or any podcast app. Follow our social accounts for show updates, local events, inspirational content, or simply for fun. Follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok, Blue Sky, or Instagram. All right, guys, we learned a little bit about Appleton there. It was good to hear Danny. So we move on to Neenah. Like we mentioned earlier, they were seconds away from the championship last year, and they're loaded this year. So Tash and I had a chance to sit down with Eric Marsh, the Neenah Rockets head coach. But we wanted to get some of you coaches on and really just talk about how's the team look, and what are you guys expecting this year? A hell of a year last year.
Yeah, right.
You got to just win one more
2
game.
minutes away. Yeah. We're 2 minutes away, and that's kind of our theme, honestly, going into this year. No, I think we're going to end up being stronger in just about every position. Jack obviously in the net was a huge loss for us, him graduating. But Isaac Scholl right now is looking like he'll pop in and as a sophomore, and it's his second year. He got some varsity time last year, but it's hard to replace a guy like Jack. I think he had 20 some saves in that championship game last year. It was the reason we were in it. But yeah, but I think every other spot though, I think we're going to be just stronger. I think we lost some of or I shouldn't say lost. I think we graduated some of those guys that weren't really, they were still in kind of like the older system before we came on.
Okay.
So now like all of these guys, like these seniors have been playing for me since, none of them had played varsity other than maybe Jackson Brown his freshman year, but then they've all been underneath us for 3 years now. And I think that's just going to make our offense much more powerful.
Nice.
And obviously losing Ben on the backside too for defense is great, but I think we're honestly as a unit probably stronger than we were last year on the defensive side too. So yeah, I'm excited. I think the boys are pumped, and I think we're going to score a lot of goals this year. I think our offense is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, being on the new turf field too, that's got to help. Better than
yeah. Last year was awesome. For us to be able to go out year one essentially on the turf and host all the way through. Right. We ended up hosting sectionals, and then but yeah, it's just good to be at home. So a lot less home games this year because we were at home so much last year. But no, we got some big ones at home this year. Good. So we got Middleton at home, Wanakee at home, Verona at home. Like they're all coming up, and yeah, it'll be a good schedule. It'll be tough.
One of the things we're asking the coaches, what is your assessment of the overall kind of, where's the state at? How are the teams? Is it the same old?
Yeah. Like in terms of who's on top.
Yeah. Who are the good teams?
I don't think that that's changed. The landscape has changed a whole lot, to be truthful. Your Wanakees and Middletons and Kettle Moraine and McWanago, and hopefully we stay in that top 5, top 7 range all from here on out too. And then but yeah, it's kind of the same old tried and true. I think there was a lot of graduating last year too. From both of those teams and from those other teams, and I don't know. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see some changes. I think there'll be some new teams might be popping in there and making some runs. But any program that has super established in the youth area is going to just continue to be there. So yeah, that's our goal too. This is our second year of having a full 8th grade team and a full 7th grade team.
That's awesome.
So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, we have like 24 8th graders coming in next year. So that's our goal, is to have 15 to 20 kids coming in every class. That's the only way we're going to be able to stay up there. Yeah.
So you bring up an interesting point. We had Steve Young, the football coach at Neenah, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And I talked to him, and we actually got into lacrosse talk because it's fascinated me, obviously, with Owen going through lacrosse. You can see, especially football and lacrosse, the comparison, the two, and a lot of that, actually, the headbutting that goes on, because football coaches, just don't understand lacrosse. I think that's becoming more acceptable, but it seems like that key connection and one that you guys found in Neenah is really the connection in the weight room. I think in the end, that's really what the coaches want, is that weight room work.
That's a huge connection. And I think that was what was kind of the disconnect prior to me being there. So Steve was my first call. Once Elkin was like, yeah, let's go. You're going to be it. And he was basically my next call. And I said, hey, we need to talk. We need to have, some conversations about how we get more of your guys playing lacrosse and how we get more of everyone in the weight room. Because that's really what it comes down to. I can train guys to play lacrosse. We can teach them the ins and outs and X's and O's and throw, catch, all that. But when you're in and out of the weight room all the time and learning that skill set and gaining muscle and speed, and that's what Steve does. Him and his staff do a great job. And Steve Camber, who's strictly our strength and conditioning coach, those guys run programs year round for these kids. And I think it's a great thing that that we've been able to tap into that, but it's also been able to say to Steve, like, your guys are going to get taken care of in the spring too. And he very much encourages, multi sports, and he requires every kid to play some sort of spring sport. And we've seen it again. I mean, we've got football kids coming out of the woodwork to come play lacrosse again this year. So we were on the verge of 3 teams for the high school level too.
Wow.
But we had some of like our JV seniors that didn't come out, and which actually was, I mean, you hate to see it, but it was a little bit of a relief for us, because I didn't want to have to deal with 60 plus kids to try to get 3 teams going.
Yeah.
And, so thankfully we stayed in the 50s. so we'll have 2 bigger teams, but but yeah, all those guys coming out and having him being able to trust that the kids are going to play a good sport in the spring. I mean, it's great. It's been a super advantage for us.
So the success of your program in Neenah and some of the programs here in the Fox Valley, have you heard that other areas are trying to start programs now and try to build that lacrosse in the Fox Valley now?
Gosh, I hope so. I haven't heard a lot in our area, unfortunately. And I think it's, I think when looking at the landscape of it, we have and especially in the Fox Valley, like there's us, and like Roger's doing a great job at Kimberly, doing the same success. Like, we're getting kids involved, and we're getting involved with the football programs, and our ADs are super supportive. And then now we're both pumping 50 to 60 kids in the high school program and a huge youth program that's just growing like crazy. But I think that's a little bit of a struggle that we have right now with some of the programs, like not just down here, but up in the Green Bay area and the central part of the state, is like it's hard for co-ops to grow because everyone kind of relies on everyone else, and if you're not like, and I think that's the message that the like WIA has kind of talked about too. And I don't know if they'll publicly talk about it or whatever, but when I was up there for the meeting, I asked them specifically about it, like what their thoughts were. And they said if it were up to them, they would just get rid of co-ops. But I understand that's tough because there's a lot of kids that wouldn't be able to play. But I think in order to really grow programs, I think you've got to kind of be supported by your school and just say, this is our school and this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to grow it. And you never want to leave a kid out, right? You never want to leave a kid from playing the game that, we all love. But I think we're in a little bit of a crossroad right now where I think we need more of that, or if it's 1 or 2 schools or whatever it is that just are going to say like, hey, we might have 12 kids this year, but next year we're going to have 30 kids. And then the following year, we're going to have 35 kids. And, I think it goes a long way if you're involved in that one school kind of thing, 1 or 2 school, whatever. I think it's a huge advantage for us, at least, to do that and to have support. Like, we have a ton of support. Everyone in our school is super supportive, and the AD is awesome for us. And, it always gets communicated all the time. And our other coaches from other sports are being involved in it too. And they're coming to games and they're seeing what it's all about. And, that's just work that we had to do on the front end of it to say, hey, this is awesome. You guys all got to come watch this. And and Steve's been great, all the time. He's encouraging his guys to do it too. So, which is awesome.
That's good to hear. And the sport of lacrosse in this area is still growing as well. So you're fighting both. How has it gone now a year or 2 into the WIAA being a sanctioned sport? What's your take? How is it?
I mean, other than the state championship, it really hasn't changed a whole lot. It's nice to have a lot more athletic directors involved in the process. For the most part, they get to deal with the seating committees and they deal with all this field scheduling and, who's hosting where. And that part of it has been very nice. And going to the state championship last year and seeing, kind of the production of it and not having to be a part of that production as well. You can just show up and everything's taken care of for you. that part's been really nice to have the WIA involved in it. So
Yeah, I never thought about that. Shout out to WLF doing all that for all those
oh
years.
yeah, and there was a
Yeah.
lot of us like wearing multiple hats, doing the coaching, doing the the youth stuff, and doing the WLF stuff. Where I was very happy to relinquish that hat and just let those guys take care of it. Yeah.
The WIAA does do a nice job running state tournaments in all the different sports. They take that serious.
Yeah. Yeah, they do a great job.
The Bay Valley, what's your assessment? How's it looking? Is it strong? I mean, what players should we look for? That maybe not even guys on your team.
Yeah, no, I think it's still fair. I think it's still fairly strong. I mean, we moved back into the full 8 or 9 teams or whatever it is now, 8 teams. So it's not just the Valley teams, are separate from Green Bay. It's all combined and together.
Sure.
So that'll make it a little bit easier to find out who's kind of to the top and who's going to do well. But I mean, I think all 3 of us down here in the Valley are going to be at the top, truthfully. Excuse me. If I were to kind of venture a guess, and, Bayport's always strong. I know they lost some numbers, but they've still got a lot of kids that can play lacrosse up there. And then, I mean, Wausau, they're always fairly strong. I know they lost Nico this year, which is going to be a massive blow for those guys. So I think that's what might keep them from, being towards the top. But Sam Lang up there is still, I mean, one of our top attackmen in the whole conference. So, I mean, he's going to do some damage no matter who their goaltender is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. We've got a couple seniors on our end too. Obviously Jackson Brown is going to have another big year. I mean, usually,
right.
He has every year, other than the end of his sophomore campaign when he got hurt. But Keen Sullivan's going to be huge out of the midfield for us. I mean, he's kind of taken over the leadership role and really done well on that. Yeah. And then, I think we have arguably the best, LSM in the state with Hunter Weinke. I think he probably should have got close to that nod last year as a sophomore. And he's just, I mean, no one's really going to dodge on that kid. And there isn't a ball that he drops or, doesn't pick up or anything like that. I mean, I think he's, one of the best in the state for sure, when it comes to that. But then, and then I there's Kimberly and Appleton that are always going to have some strong kids, like, Cody, Cody Thorson, Kimberly's depot. I mean, he's so good, so big and so strong, and he does a good job of his communication back there too, just helping out. And then they got a good sophomore goaltender too. Reed's coming in, and I mean, he kind of stymied us a little bit last year as a freshman popping in.
Right.
They put him in that playoff game, and he did it. He did a bang up job, and so I think he's going to have a good year again. He'll have a good 3 years.
Absolutely.
It's going to be tough to play against for the next 3. So yeah. But I think those are the the bigger guys that at least that I know and see day in and day out. They're always going to be tough, and so. But yeah, I think it's going to be. If I were to venture a guess, I'd say, selfishly, the three Fox Valley schools are probably at the top if I were to venture a guess. So, yeah, I think a lot of people sleep on Roger and Kimberly, but he does a great job, scouting, putting in game plans, and for what he might lack in the top talent, like he does a great job, doing that and really figuring out who the opponent is. I mean, that was our toughest game other than the state championship game for us last year, and that was our second round. So I mean, it was a tough game. So, but yeah, I think they're gonna sneak some wins this year. They're gonna kind of sneak up on some people, and I think they'll be a lot better than people think, truthfully.
Roger, from a coaching standpoint, is always good for a win or two, I think.
Purely
from him.
Exactly. So just a big win that you're just like, oh wow, like that was good. That was really good. Not expected. So yeah, no, I think it could be any one of the 3 that are down here that can kind of lead the conference off. But if I were a betting man, I'd be
There you
betting
go.
on the Rockets. So,
Gotta say that.
yeah,
Take that money to Vegas. Let's go see the Grateful Dead, right?
Not right there. That doesn't go on record though. I'm gonna get in trouble for betting on our own team or something. So,
well, hypothetically, we can go to the Sphere. We're going there for the Sphere. There's a lot of deadheads in the lacrosse community, and
right.
If we run across a casino that has
Hey.
Neenah lacrosse odds, I can't help it.
Valley Conference, I'd put something on it if it was there. Definitely.
Hypothetically.
Definitely. Yeah, hypothetically, of course.
Just highlighting, looking forward to the early season. What are some big games on your schedule that you're looking forward to?
Well, we come right out of the gate, second game against Kimberly. That's going to be and then we come back the following Tuesday with a state championship rematch against Middleton. So I mean that's going to start out right hot right away. It'll give us a good idea of where we're going to be at, how we're going to be at, what we need to work on, what we need to fix immediately. So those are some big ones for us, at least early part. And then we get a little bit soft in the middle there. We have Arrowhead. We go down to Arrowhead and Marquette. So those are going to be big. And then we're actually heading down to the Badger Spring invite this year. So we were able to grab McWanago in that one too. So and then I mean Hudson. We're going up to Hudson, Wanakee, Verona. Those are all big ones for us. But early season, two of the top three for us are two of the top. Two of the first three games are going to be pretty huge, pretty important.
So Hudson, are they still a good team? They still have lacrosse players?
Yeah, as far as I know, I don't know if they graduated a whole lot last year. They're kind of like us, not a whole lot to lose, but I think they lost some keys. But I mean, they're going to play a Minnesota schedule, so anytime. I mean, I think there's only 4 teams from Wisconsin that they're playing.
Wow.
So I mean, anytime you can get that Twin City schedule, I mean, you're gonna be tough to play. If you can play the Twin Cities the entire season.
Hudson being in the Bay Valley didn't work.
No, I don't think they did it last year either. Yeah, shocker.
I'm just
right?
messing with you. That I mean,
I never thought that was the greatest idea either. So, but yeah.
I mean, I'm all for favor of everybody playing and leaving no kid behind, but Hudson and the Bay Valley.
That was always a strange one for me too. Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, I'm glad that never actually surfaced too much, but oh well. Right. What are you gonna do?
That's right. All right. Well, we're under summer timing rules here, so we better cut this one.
Oh yeah, no problem. Whatever you guys. I'm always happy to help you guys out.
Look forward to seeing you. I mean, I'll see you on the lacrosse field this summer.
For sure.
This spring, I should say.
For sure.
So that'll be fun. Absolutely.
Please contact the Newsa-Cast to share your story, offer a suggestion of a particular athlete or sport, or even an idea, or just simply say hello. Newsa-Cast@gmail.com.
All right. We're going to leave the Rockets and come back to the heart of the Fox Valley, and we're going to hit Kimberly. And Kimberly, this is, one of the he's the grandfather of lacrosse here in the Fox Valley. Roger has been a part of lacrosse. He's started Appleton program, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, just Chris Green and Marsh and Becky, those guys definitely did, but Roger was shortly after that. And I mean, he's taught so many people. I mean, he taught me lacrosse. He's a mentor for me in lacrosse, so many other people. Starts Kimberly, helps with Appleton's youth. I mean, he's my kid, Owen. I mean, he was his first, basically him and Paul Espinoza were his coaches, all through his growing up years. And it's, these guys live and breathe and lacrosse. And we had a good conversation with Roger. I always love, Roger gets what you and I are trying to do with this. He just understands it. And I've really, you don't meet many people that are such passionate advocates for whatever cause, and in this case, lacrosse.
Yeah, so sit back and enjoy this. I mean, he touches a lot of the kids' lives on all the teams here in the Fox Valley. And this is another good interview with him, just like the last three have been as well. So sit back and enjoy.
On the WIAA, how do you like it over? I mean, what is this year 2 of the WIAA?
There's just no comparison. It's in terms of, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get equal access in the school. We're equal access for the youth program at fields. We're financially supported so the kids can play with a much less of a financial burden. They're, really, truly part of the school. So yeah, it's been great. I mean, there's a little growing pains, but man, that's nothing. I mean, it's nothing to even think about compared to, when you talk about field access and money and access to the sport. We went from 38 kids ish, which is a varsity and a JV. This year at Kimberly, we got varsity and 2 JV teams with 60 plus kids participating. So yeah, I mean, and it's all WIA in my opinion, because the low barrier to jump in and give it a shot.
That's interesting. You say that. I never thought about that, but you're right. Because I mean, lacrosse. I mean, there is financial support, but it is kind of an expensive sport. Well, it can be.
It can be. But it doesn't have to be. Like all my kids, I'm like, hey, you want gear? Here's from the Hornberger collection of gear. What do you want? I give them stuff. They give it to me back at the end of the season. Make sure you sweat on it a little bit, and then after that, it's $35, I think. So and then follow the rules, right? So
follow the rules.
That's what it should be. That's the way high school sports should be, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. I think we're in a really awesome place in lacrosse in Wisconsin.
That's good to hear.
I'm excited. Yeah.
I was excited when Tosh and I interviewed Steve Young, the Neenah football head coach.
I love that. Loved it.
Well, it was great lacrosse because there's a football coach that understands lacrosse, sees the value in lacrosse, and wants the kids to play lacrosse. That you and I talked, I mean, that weight room piece, I think, is sort of that connecting piece. And he was comfortable and happy with it. And I was excited to hear that.
Yeah. I sent that to Scooter just as an affirmation of what we're doing at Kimberly, which is, hey, we promote multi-sport and let's all meet in the weight room and speed training. And, my senior class this year, those kids have been dedicated to the weight room and to speed training. And it's just all showing up so far in practice. Who the heck knows what we're going to have when we get out in the field in a few days, but yeah.
Right. Well, you're about to hop on a bus here in a couple of days. You'll have already played games when this is released, but let's talk about your team. How does Kimberly look this year? I know you're excited for the season, but tell me about the boys and the team.
Well, I think going back to our earlier discussion, this is a group of seniors who have the core of which have played lacrosse. They played in youth. They played in 5th and 6th grade. So this is their big year to be seniors. And, seniors are stronger than juniors, are stronger than sophomores, and stronger than freshmen is what I've learned over the years, Joe. I don't know. It's pretty complicated, but
yeah, makes sense.
And this group is, we've got about 16 kids that are all seniors, plus some really strong underclassmen. So we're very excited. I'm very, very happy for them that they've stuck with it, stuck with the commitment to playing and doing the speed and the strength and, working on their stick and augmenting, not for everyone, but for who it's the right fit for, Construct and Scotty, previously.
Sure.
So I'm really excited for this crew. And just hope they're able to put out their best performance every time they go out in the field. We've got we're starting out with first ever spring break trip. We are traveling down to Chicago via MSOE and Benedictine University, and we are playing. Then on Friday we are playing a school called Fenwick Academy, and then we are playing Fenwick High School, and then we are playing one of the top 20 teams, I'd say, in Illinois, sitting 4-0 right now.
Yeah.
Downers Grove. Really, really excited to just really see where we're at to start out. You know, when you see your team in isolation here in the first couple of weeks of practice, you say, boy, that looks good and that looks good. And man, do we got to fix that. And, you know, so we'll see.
Sure.
It's going to be a tough year, man. Everyone else has got seniors too. I know I just watched Alex Alatorre for Neenah committed to MSOE along with my guy, Cody Thomson is also committed to MSOE. So
Nice.
Coach Farrell's got two guys from our conference right there playing D-form next year.
Oh, that's awesome. And leave it to the engineers to put a lacrosse field right on top of a parking garage.
And Joe, we're playing there. It'll
probably
be snowing because it is Wisconsin spring.
Yeah. And
but
lacrosse season.
we're going to practice there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I love it. For anybody that doesn't know, they put a lacrosse field on top of a parking garage in the middle of Milwaukee. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So lacrosse, it's not like football necessarily where you're pretty much all playing conference games. Lacrosse still, you play a lot of the teams in the state plus the Bay Valley. So kind of want to break down both. What do you see in the Bay Valley? Who are some of the players to watch? You know, some of the teams. What's your assessment of the Bay Valley? And after that, we'll take a look at the state.
Well, I think you got to start with Marsh's team, you know, that went to the state championship and came a minute and a half away from sneaking away with that one with some awesome goalie play. I'm happy. Jack Ramsos, wherever you are, very glad you played, glad you graduated, man, because he was a good goalie. And Ben Carey, Marsh had last year too, is just a phenomenal player who's now playing at University of Albany, D1. So just a great athlete. So they've graduated, but then they backfilled with some really nice players and everything Steve Young talked about, right? A nice mix of kids playing football and lacrosse. So I think Neenah's going to be tough. Kids like Keen Sullivan coming into their own their senior year. Kids like Jackson Brown, hopefully he's healthy this year. And then you got to look at Appleton. Appleton, I think they were, boy, God bless, everyone who's involved with Appleton. I think it's so hard to manage at times a multi-school co-op.
Sure.
But they've got the numbers. I heard the other day they're 45 plus, I guess, something like that, which means they're going to have a solid JV team, varsity team. And their defense is huge. I mean, they are just absolute monsters. They graduate a lot of their offense, so I think that'll be Danny's challenge this year. But defensively and in the cage, they got two good options with Bishop and Collins. So, yeah. So they're going to be good. Wausau, I feel bad for Nico Federici, man. What a great kid, great player. He's going D1, and he hurt his knee.
Oh, did he?
Hoops. Yeah, from what I understand. I mean, I shouldn't say things like that, but I know. Let me put it this way: I saw him a couple of weeks ago, and he was on crutches, and it doesn't look like that's happening this year. So, but he's got, they still got Sam Galang, a strong player out there in Wausau. So, I think them plus our senior class. Not throw any shade at any of the other people, man. Last year, Oneida almost knocked us off. Notre Dame's with a new coach, looking strong. Bayport's always tough with new coach Morgan. And, Pulaski's, I think Rich is finally getting some varsity programming in there. So, it's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Rich here a little bit later, be part of this episode as well.
Excellent.
So, the state overall, I mean, it's always, we joke about Hudson. They always had great players, but you go down south, Arrowhead, and I mean, any of the Madison, Milwaukee teams, there's always studs out there. What's the state look like as a whole?
Yeah, I think, Middleton, the reigning state champs, we're playing them. So I'm excited. We're going down there. Our season is definitely a gauntlet up front. We're playing these Illinois teams. We play Neenah first in the conference, like on a Thursday night after a week from now. Then we play Middleton. And then we play Waunakee. So, it's, and I'm very happy, I mean, I think, I've been reading a book called The Obstacle is the Way.
Okay.
And I think you got to put those challenges out there for your team, and whatever it is, whatever the W or an L is, wherever you end up in the column, you just want to keep getting better. So at the end of the year, you're playing your best, which I thought we did last year, and I'm just hoping we can keep going. Unfortunately, you got to climb the hill all over again, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, and. WIAA, the WLF did a great job hosting the state tournament, but boy, that state tournament at Sun Prairie, that new stadium, what a great setting.
Beautiful. It was good. Really nice day.
Definitely.
Just a great environment all around. So, yep. I think my team, I didn't talk about my own guys. Yeah, I talked about so my seniors. I got 3 senior captains. Jax Lutke has just dedicated himself to lacrosse and speed and training, and he's from a family that knows how to train. And every time I just was looking at Jax's stats the other day from freshman year, played some freshman year, more sophomore year. Last year was, key guy. So hope he has a great senior year at attack. Cody Thorson, I mentioned him. The battles in practice are just unreal with him playing defense, and the rest of the defense chirping the offense is as a coach, you just love it, and these guys are really going after it in practice. So I think they're looking forward to seeing a different uniform. Got Carter Erdman, another senior, Will Cote, another senior, Peyton Mazinski, another senior. All these guys are going to contribute. And then I got Reed Lindenberg as our sophomore goalie. I'm sorry, he's just one of the best goalies in the state. I don't care.
Incredible!
He is just. Marsh saw it last year in the handshake line. We lost to Neenah in the playoffs, and Marsh is like, I don't believe I have to face you 3 more years in a row. And that's the deal. I mean, he's just really taken to the sport. He's a quarterback too when he plays football, just to put a plug in for the multi-sport. And I know Coach Makowitz likes him there. We both talked about how he likes to compete. And so, so that's kind of on the defensive side. And then we also have, the heart of any team's their midfield unit. And there again, I got some nice seniors with Sean Welsh, John Hansen, again, another Sean, multi-sport everywhere. Sean, volleyball player, John Hansen, fullback on the football team. I think Coach Makowitz threw him to him twice, and I think he blocked. So, in lacrosse, he's gonna get to carry the ball a little bit anyway, and hopefully throw it in the goal. And so, I safety I got multi-sport, 3-sport kid, Logan Clavio. Peyton Mazinski also played football. So really, a lot of multi-sport kids, which is just exciting.
That's super exciting. It's also exciting too. You mentioned the football players that play. Every time I watch an NFL game and they bring up that this was a lacrosse player, it just it warms my heart. I love that.
Yeah. Amen. I left out in lacrosse, they kind of say up the middle, right? So your goalie, we talked about Reed, attack, we talked about Jax, and then face off, right? So got two kids who are working hard at face off. And one of them also, again, is a football player. So, Brady Ranke, again, a kid who he was in the sport, was out of the sport, came back last year, and he's just committed to strength and conditioning program. And then Emery Nickel is also just really worked hard at it. So, but I always say, face-off guys, man, it's critical. It's just critical. You got to have the ball. So that's why the wins and losses, you just don't know. One night you walk into a game and your guy matches up great against the other guy and you got the ball all night. The next night, same kid doesn't match up against the other kid or the face-off team and you don't have the ball. So, we'll just see how that goes.
I haven't kept up any major rule changes. Are we pretty decent this year?
Joe, you're as an official. Yes. This year I think the thing that I like back to the face-offs is they kept the mechanic the way in 2019 they had it perfect, and then COVID came along and they had to come up with these sort of COVID rules about how you put the ball down and all that. They're going back to the 2019 rules.
Oh, good.
And I think it just makes it fair. It's just a real nice, clean face-off way to go at it. And it's not really a rule, it's the mechanic. As you know, mechanics are everything in officiating. And so now it's down, set, and then a cadence whistle so the guys can't jump the whistle.
Right.
So it's going to be good.
It's the best part of not officiating is I don't have to remember the rules or the enforcement. That's a freeing of the brain.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Roger, we want to kind of keep it short because we've got a couple of other coaches, but I wanted to, you've mentioned it a few times in this interview that, some kids are going on to play D1. I know several are playing club and, D2, D3 around the country, really. And that's been the growth that we've seen in Northeastern Wisconsin. There are kids now going to play lacrosse in college and being recruited to play.
Yep, absolutely. Like I said, on our team, Jacks could play in a lot of places. And as a matter of fact, a bunch of my players could all play. I think, Mikey would love to have some of our players at Lawrence,
Yeah.
But I think it's always finding that academic fit, and the family fit, right?
Right.
Jacks, for example, probably could play in a number of East Coast teams. But is that the right fit for him? Right. So, and every kid has got their own journey and their own path. But certainly on the lacrosse side and in the athletic side, we're putting kids out there that can do it. So
it's cool to see. It's cool to see the sport grow. And you've always helped in recruiting. And I think one of your best pieces of advice you've ever given kids was if you didn't play the sport that you got recruited, could you see yourself going to the school or would you be happy at this school? And that's a huge part of it because as we go through life, you do see kids that start playing college and maybe it's overwhelming. Maybe they burn out. Maybe they just don't want to play anymore. And you're not playing the sport, but you're still going to the school and you got to like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, you're going there for an education. We do have Gash who went to the PLL, but he's probably an exception.
Yeah, I would say so. Man, did you see about a month ago? Because he's playing box, right? He killed that guy. Yeah.
Oh, my. That was a bad idea picking a fight with him. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. He's a great kid too. He's just one of those between the lines. You don't want to mess with him.
No. I know you were there, but just half a dozen, 8 years ago. It was a fight, but it was one of the funnest isn't a word, but it was one of the funnest times I had as an official up at Bayport Appleton, and Gash was on the field and we had a fight, but gosh darn it, that was just electric.
Yeah. It's competing. It's compete at a high level.
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah.
Well, Roger, I appreciate it. I know Kimberly's going to compete at a high level every single game, and hopefully you're down in Sun Prairie and raising the gold.
Yeah.
What do they give out for the WIA? Is it a gold ball or what is their trophy?
I'd like to find out.
Yeah,
I think it's a plaque.
All right.
Hey, let me put in one plug. On April 26th, us in Appleton are hosting Economowoc and Edgewood Madison.
Yeah.
And Tim Eckes is working with us to promote a Lacrosse Fights Cancer Day.
Oh, nice.
And obviously my recent history here. And plus, I know it's very near and dear to Tim with his family fighting cancer. So we're trying to get to all 4 programs, and I think it's a great Appleton, Kimberly working together because there'll be 4 high-quality lacrosse teams in the Appleton, Kimberly that day. And on the side, we're trying to raise some awareness and maybe a few bucks for cancer.
That's fantastic. Everybody knows a cancer survivor. You're one of them. It touches us all. So a great cause. Tash and I will plug that, and I don't have to work. I'm coming out there. I miss seeing lacrosse. I didn't catch any games last year.
Well, that day you got, it's just awesome matchups wherever you look. And they're going on at East and Papermaker Stadium. So,
excellent. Yeah. I heard the weather's supposed to be 80 and sunny that day, so we're good.
Joe, I heard that too. Let's keep that rumor going.
Let's do it. Well, good luck to you, Roger.
All right, Joe. Thanks, man.
right. Well, that wraps up our local lacrosse high school preview episode. But we want to remind you that each of these individuals, Rich, Danny, Eric, Roger, they all have hour-long interviews that have been that we've done prior to this. And you should go back and check out those interviews. You get a lot more in depth with each of them. And they're fantastic. And you learn a little bit about their history, a little bit about how they got to where they are today. I highly recommend you check those out. And like Joe says, we need to like and subscribe, right, Joe?
We definitely do, Tash. I know we've hammered this point all show, but we really do. Just like, subscribe, and just engage with our stuff. We try our hardest. I think we have we're making strides on our social side. So we're on TikTok and X and Facebook and what else? I forget. Instagram. Yeah, we're there. We're everywhere. So, and YouTube is huge too. Shorts and reels. That's the other thing, Tash. We kid all the time, but we've learned so much on social media that all of these things have multiple levels within them. So we're trying to post on all of them, and in the end, we're just trying to bring you good content, local Fox Cities, Northeast Wisconsin content, and that's exactly what we did with this. We highlighted lacrosse, Tash, and it's our favorite sport, and the season's here, and let's go, man. Down, set, lax, right?
This also brings up a point that, if you have something you think would be a good person or a good topic for us on the Newsa-Cast, you should email us and let us know what it is so we can get in touch with people and have some good interviews.
Absolutely. One said Roger, right? Kind of did that exact same thing. He texted us an idea that I think we're going to bring to you guys, and I think you're going to be kind of excited about it, but it's that easy. Just let us know.
Just let us know. What is that email address, Joe?
How about the Newsa-Cast@gmail.com?
Perfect.
Yeah. Reach out to you can even message us. Any of the social platforms, I think now is easy to message people that way. So yeah, reach out to us that way. Send us an email. What the hell? Call my phone. My phone number's out there. Shoot me a text.
There you go. Call Joe's phone any time of night. It's perfect. Yeah. And we also want to thank, we want to thank our editor, Taylor, and our social media, Lindsay, because there's a lot of stuff out there if you catch it, and they're responsible for that. It's not Joe and I. It's definitely Taylor and Lindsay. They're the meat and potatoes behind the Newsa-Cast.
Absolutely. I feel like some meat and potatoes now, Tash, but yes, shout out to those guys for sure. I love those guys, they do great work for us. So we're excited with where we're at. That was another great episode, Tash. We hope you guys enjoyed it. A little bit different from what we normally do, but a hoot nonetheless, Tash. Thanks for listening to the Newsa-Cast. We appreciate your support in our journey to highlight and support youth sports in Northeast Wisconsin. Help us grow by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts or sharing the Newsa-Cast on social media. A huge thank you to Diggstown for all the music in today's episode. Catch a gig, find them on Spotify, or check them out at diggstownrocks.com. One of the best ways to help us grow the show is to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast and Spotify. It really helps our visibility. This Newsa-Cast was produced by Polywave Studios.